The Joker is an iconic psychological supervillain, DC Comics mastermind and the ultimate arch-enemy of Batman. And he brings in himself the very notion of anarchy, being the character, the ultimate villain, the Prince of Chaos. But there is something here that I want to talk about, and that is the concept of anarchy. Anarchy generally refers to a society or group that functions without a government, ruling authority, or established hierarchy. While often used colloquially to describe chaos, lawlessness, or disorder, as a political philosophy, it advocates for self-governance, voluntary cooperation, and individual freedom. You look at that. That is, it would mean a movement that rejects coercive state control, capitalism, and unnecessary hierarchies in favor of a horizontal, community-based organization. And the goal would be as high as it takes, my friends. It would be that the proponents believe that without rulers, individuals can peacefully and voluntarily cooperate to manage society, resources, and everyday life. Those two concepts, the Joker and anarchy, they give us an interesting perspective on life, because at the same time that this idea of anarchy is often seen as an evil thing that could be represented by the Joker himself, it also can show us the limits of our ignorance. Let me explain better. In anarchism, in pure anarchism, referring to that idea I just told you about, anarchy would be a system where each individual needed to be just aware of himself. Listen to this. Let me say again. Anarchy is just the idea of a person being completely free. Completely free. But in order to reach such a state of freedom, this person ought to be aware of oneself. Because being aware of himself, this individual can find true freedom. Look at those, my friends. An evil point of view and a view that sees the big picture. It's not about concepts of good or bad, but it is about the individual himself being aware of himself. That's something about consciousness, my friends. Ultimately, it's all about consciousness. For example, Joker, he's a fictional character, but he is free. Let me say again, I'm not saying that he's a good person. I'm saying that he found some sort of freedom in choosing the evil side. I repeat, I'm not saying that is right. I'm just saying he's just an example, a distorted example. But when we see in fact that anarchy is just a way of calling something that we should be, but not defined by concepts. As a species, we ought to cooperate with each other. We should be cooperating freely with each other. We could be free to do anything we want. Because if you were aware of ourselves, we didn't need to cause suffering or violence, to judge, but only to experience life and share with everyone around, with the universe, with the world, with the other beings. That is so simple, my friends, but at the same time is so far away from our reality. And that is something to think about, because what a crazy world we live in. I was talking to a specialist in the area of ancient history and literature. I told him about my idea about the hunter-gatherers, and he said something that was really interesting. He said to me, man, I understood what you're saying, but I think you are being too nostalgic. And I felt it deep when he said that, because that is true. And I said, that is absolutely truth, my friend. I am nostalgic of the hunter-gatherers, and that is amazing, because it's a part of our history that is a mystery. You know what I mean? And they were probably more aware of themselves than we are now, because they were being humans, fully humans, in their capacities and the possibilities around them. And probably they were in more harmony with nature. And that is what we need to go back to, not the same way, but we need to find this. You know, this nostalgia is just an answer, a reaction I'm having to the environment around me, to the planet, to the state of our society. And that's scary. But that lit something inside of me. And I'm going to keep it burning. To remember a time where we were really free of the boundaries of ignorance. Because the past, the future, and the present all are happening now, at this very moment. After all, there is no separateness, and everything is Mandala.